Yep, and today we are going to be talking about co-op. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2, as in co-op. Remember the days of the arcade when you would walk in, see some complete stranger shooting bank robbers in Lethal Enforcers? You would go up, put a quarter in, not these tokens or cards. Instant bond with your fellow neighbor. You are now protecting the streets. The scale of games that I like to live by, you know, everything can coexist on this scale. You have your hardcore, single player only, play in a dark room with headphones, and then you have your super jolly, let's turn all the lights on and get everyone involved. A very long time ago, my father and I were on vacation, Mammoth Mountain, California. We're up in this little pizza restaurant, and in the very back corner, there was this arcade machine with 2 Uzis strapped to it. Now we're gunning soldiers down, we're escaping prison, it's like a Rambo situation. We're mowing them down left and right, we're just pumping quarters into this thing. So we get to the very end, and this terrorist has this woman hostage with their getaway plane behind him. And he's got her, you know, and you only have a split second to react. My dad looks over at me and he says, "Son, shoot the hostage." So boom, we shoot the hostage. The next thing you know, game over. And that is a memory, though, that I will hold for the rest of my entire life, because it was this shared moment, this bond was formed between me and my dad, and it's just something I'll never forget. So I'm here to talk about where co-op is now. So Resident Evil over the years was predominantly a single-player game. You know, there have been multiplayer ones. There was Resident Evil Outbreak, which is kind of an online test. And Resident Evil 5, though, was the first mainline entry in this series to have full co-op. And my buddy, who works here now, Brad Ellis, when that game came out, I knew it was co-op, and I said, guess what? We're playing this entire game from start to finish in one go. So, you know, I took the day off from school, we got the game, we started at high noon. We must have played that thing until 3:30 in the morning, super pumped up. He was fading though. He was like, I'm done, I want to stop. I said, no! This is Resident Evil. The story is so near and dear to my heart. We gotta keep going. Just these moments that I'll never forget with co-op is the first showdown with Albert Wesker. You know, the cutscene ends and it puts you right in the middle of the fight. Brad and I are just unloading on Wesker. He's going Neo. He's dodging bullets left and right. And I just remember screaming at the top of my lungs in pure joy at this moment. You know, the game still gets a lot of hate today from longtime fans, and I ask them, I say, hey, did you have a buddy backing you up? Did you have a good co-op partner? And they say, no, I played single player. You know what, that's like watching Avatar on a bus on your phone when a baby is screaming behind you. You didn't play it in the original intended format, co-op. Get a little heated. We're talking about Resident Evil. But next up is Evolve, currently on the market, brand new game. And I wanted to talk about this because of the power of the Plessis effect. This one man, this champion, Nick Plessis, former GT intern. I play this game with him, not enough, but I crave it every day. He has the power to make these games glorious. You hop into a game with him, he's yelling at the monster, he's taunting it, he's leading the charge. He's saying things like, oh, why don't you run, you coward? Or, oh, that's balanced. Or, oh, that's not fair. Or, my personal favorite, oh, I got caught on a texture glitch. Just having a co-op partner alone carrying you through this game is just jolly. There's no other way to describe it. And the way that all the characters work together, you know, just having a buddy to fall back to, and with Evolve, a group of buddies, being able to, as Samwise Gamgee says, share the load. You know, lets me enjoy the game a lot more than some super stressful one-on-one deathmatch. To change gears a little bit from the super serious Evolve, Super Mario 3D World. So, you know, I'm not gonna name names or anything. There's some people who are adamantly against playing this game in co-op. Kyle Bossman even though the game is clearly designed with that in mind. Four different characters, they all have different play styles. The maps are large enough as to where everyone can have their own quadrant and mess around in. You know, this exists so well within the Mario canon. You know, we're just coming off Super Mario Galaxy, 2 of them, these hardcore platforming single-player Mario games. But, you know, the 3D World was just a nice change of pace for the franchise. We're playing the game. You see that flagpole at the end. You know, everyone's helping each other out, we're bopping Goombas, we're collecting stars, everyone's on the same page for the majority of the level. When that flagpole is in sight, the Uneasy Alliance rears its ugly head, everyone books it to the flag, picks them up, throws each other, bounces on each other. That is when co-op is at its best, when the game is completely changed. A simple flagpole in Mario now becomes its own game. Everyone just rushing to get to the top for the points and the crown. And last but certainly not least, StarCraft 2. Now you may be thinking, co-op StarCraft 2? There's a huge single-player campaign, and the tournament scene is predominantly one-on-one. Well, the former tournament scene, StarCraft 2, is kind of floating in the ether now as we speak. But co-op in this game, you want to talk about sharing the load and releasing the pressure of this hyper-intense chess match of death. Co-op is the only way I play this game. One-on-one, just every click, every marine built, every zergling popped is just so intense. You know the enemy is coming, you know he's out there in the blackness, you can't help but just feel the pressure, feel the intensity. So when you get a co-op buddy in there, the focus shifts from pounding the other enemy into the ground to what awesome creative unit compositions we can make. You know, getting that uneasy, impossible alliance of Terran and Zerg that just physically isn't possible in one-on-one matches. You know, my buddy's building 400 Banelings while I'm building siege tanks and marauders. You know, the Banelings have my tanks covered, believe me. Then you got Mutalisks flying overhead, fire bats rolling on the ground, Hellions going through. The Zerg's worst nightmare, Hellions, are side by side in the trenches with them. You know, Marauders and Ultralisks, Thors and Ultralisks, these enforcers of enemy sides binding together, mowing down anyone that stands in their path. And even 3-on-3, 4-on-4, you know, it's just an entirely different game. The stress is gone when you're playing with your buddies. You know, you're hooking up to a Skype call, you got everyone in there, and sometimes you're not even talking about the game, you're just catching up with buddies, you're talking about life, social experience, having a good time. Co-op. So that's it, episode co-op of Huber Hype. Coming up this week on GameTrailers.com, that promised Dragon Ball Xenoverse review took a little longer than anticipated. Had to grind to beat Beerus. Didn't know I was going to have to do that. Maybe that's a little hint for the score there. Additionally, we are going to have a countdown of the most beautiful soundtracks in gaming franchises. Really looking forward to that. Clearly, no one is beating Dragon Quest. Sorry, Bloodworth. And another co-op news, going through Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for the first time. We are going to be doing an extensive Just Played on that. My anti-co-op friend Kyle Bossman and I will be sitting down to discuss it. And I just want to really thank everyone for all the positive and negative feedback regarding Huber Hype. I am carefully digesting and reading all of those comments to better the show. And the backgrounds, I know, were extremely divisive. Don't really know what I'm going to be doing there. Just going to give it a few more weeks, experiment, try different things. So if it's working or not, let me know. And I will see you all next week. Welcome to Huber's Q! It was a co-op episode, but I am not going to recommend a co-op game this week because I really want to recommend Shadows of the Damned. a collaboration of two Japanese masterminds, Suda51 and Shinji Mikami. They joined forces to create this extremely underrated gem. These environments will just bear down on your soul and crush them. The headshots in this game feel incredible, and just the combat and the tone, the raw tone of this game should not be missed. Shadows of the Dam.